The miracle of dust, the miracle of Abu. Abu in the Indonesian language means dust or ash. The cat we named Abu transformed itself from a jungle feral cat that was not much more than a piece of dust into a very conscious being. The miracle of Abu is the miracle of evolution, a miracle in which a piece of dust can eventually evolve into a conscious being, and this conscious being has the capability of bringing the divine light into the very substance of matter, thus creating a divinized life. Abu showed up on our doorstep at our Bali house on the very day Euel left his body in Seattle, Washington, USA. This was August the 8th, 2014. Abu was going to die unless he got help from us. His life was spared through the hands of a local veterinarian who surgically repaired his front left leg, as a kite string had made it impossible for the little cat to live in the jungle anymore. He spent 3 days of forced inside recovery in the very room we had put aside for Euel's altar. By Balinese tradition, a 3-day period is set aside to interact with the Atman of a human being who has died. Euel's Atman came through this cat. There is no doubt about it. It must be said that all, by this I mean 100%, of the feral cats in Bali freak out if they cannot get outside. Abu, however, was unique, and he adjusted within a 3-day period to stay with us as an indoor-outdoor cat for as long as our visit allowed. Abu lived with us for nearly a month until we left for Seattle, and we loved him dearly. He lived at our house for another month until some people who rented out our house brought in a couple of big dogs. From our apartment in Seattle, we did not know about this until much later. Abu left, not to return until nearly 3 years later. This leads us to the present day. He just recently stayed with us for 2.5 weeks, and it was a completely amazing reunion. It appears that Abu had lived as a feral jungle cat for the entire 3-year time period that we did not see him in. He came to us very sick this time around, just as he came to us very sick the first time around. The second time he immediately wanted us to hold him and care for him. Feral cats are just not like this in Bali. Key and I prayed for Abu to live for as long as possible, and yet we were practical, and so our second prayer was for him to be free of any kind of excruciating pain if it was not destined for him to live. He was not in pain when he died. Key and I attended to him 24/7 for the last few days of his life as Abu. I slept with him by my side for the last 3 nights of his life. Key loved him in every way possible and administered medicine to him orally for the last 3 days of his life. This was a difficult process. Jai, Nuadi, and Yoman loved him in every way possible. It was a group effort to keep him alive for as long as possible. In his life as Abu, there is way more here than meets the eye, and yet it is true for me to say that the multiple layers of simultaneous action and actions of this story are all quite possible to know and to grasp from the inside of it all. Abu was a willing instrument to relay our complete connectedness to the soul of Euel. Something was accomplished that had not yet been done in order for Euel's soul to be ready to reincarnate again, and this was for us to hold and love onto the body of Abu, like a mom holds her dear baby. We held Abu this way for days. We do not have any idea how old Abu lived to. It could be anywhere from 5 to 9 years, or even more. For Abu to survive 5 to 9 years or more as a feral cat in Bali is difficult, to say the least. This has been accomplished by a here and there Bali cat. However, none of the other feral cats here in Bali can, in the blink of an eye, turn themselves into lap cats, if some special humans were to appear. Abu did this. Euel spoke to us through the catness of Abu. Abu relayed the Satchitananda of the cat world to us. Everybody won here. Cats are amazing creatures, and many significant life stories have involved cats for Ki and myself. It was so good for Ki Jai, Nyoman Nuadi, and myself to have Abu come into our lives on 2 separate occasions, as these were very soulful and completely impactful meetings and departures. It was an honor and a privilege to serve in the guardianship of Abu. The multiple layers of existence did indeed come through the cat being we called Abu. He has brought us in resonance with the soul connection we have with all cats, all humans, all life forms, and the death of these life forms, and the ongoing continuation of life in our soul essence and in reincarnation. All these lessons were bundled up in a funny little cat named Abu. As for Abu, his soul will dip into the ananda of in-between lives for a while and then come back again. Thank you, Abu. Thank you for sharing the multiple layers of being with us. We look forward to this continuing. I'll finish with a letter that I wrote to my mother a few hours after his departure. Mom, it was a very sweet 2.5-week period with Abu this time around. Thank you for your email and blessings. We already had a burial service for Abu. His cat body is in the garden now. We put a picture of Euel next to Abu's body in the grave. In the story of Abu, there is way more in it than that which meets the eye. It was a sweet letting go by Abu. Nuadi thinks he just might reincarnate as a human the next time around. I personally believe that there is a message from Euel, this being that he is about to take birth again in human form. I held Abu like I could never hold Euel. I know that in Euel's next birth he will be close to Jai, Ki, and me. Of course, this will be in the regular manner of his soul's desire needing to find a mother who will bear a child that we, Jai, Ki, and me, will eventually have a deep bond with. I suspect our interaction in the next human life of Euel's will be early on in his life and ongoing after it is established. Abu died in Ki's arms on the morning of July 30th, 2017, the night after we had spent a couple of hours with Jai on July 29th. On this evening, here the 3 of us were with Abu in our laps while we watched a comedian that Euel would have loved. Jai and Euel are not anywhere close to being done with each other. Nuadi and Nyoman helped to have us. Nuadi and Nyoman helped us to have a quick and meaningful ceremony to Abu's departure. Nuadi brought flower offerings, a lot of incense, then dug a grave in Savitri's garden, where we placed Abu's body in the earth and a picture of Euel next to Abu. We chanted 3 times around to each of the 9 main directional gods, and then covered Abu's cat body with the soil. We released his soul from attaching to us, and this soul has freely moved on. Transformation has occurred surrounding the little creature named Abu, within us and within him. Thank you, Divine Mother. Ba. I'll finish with the chants to the 9 directional gods. Sang Mang Tang Hang Ing Nang Mang Sing Nang Yang Sang Mang Tang Hang Ing Nang Mang Sing Nang Yang Sang Mang Tang Hang ing nang mang sing nang yang